Hey everybody, this is Josh from the Houston chapter of the Extra Pint Crokinole Club. Welcome to our Crokinole 200 series, where we're going to talk about situational awareness and strategy. Been wanting to make a video like this for a while, ever since Extra Pint Crokinole held its inaugural US Open tournament back in 2019 up in Voorheesville. I decided to go up there with my father-in-law. We both had a board, we both knew how to play. And our very first competitive match ever was against these guys. Yes, that's Jeremy Tracy and Andrew Hutchinson. And it went about as well as you'd imagine. Being as new to the game as we were, we ended up finishing 19th out of 21 teams. And the only reason we finished that high is because the collective light bulb went on in our heads with about 3 matches to go left in the round robin. And we started understanding what we were seeing on the board. We understood what the situation was. And we understood what needed to happen for us to win and what would need to happen for us to lose. And we could then develop a strategy to prevent that from happening. Because up until this point, our strategy was to have as many points on the board as possible at any given time. Every shot was attempted at 20. Every shot was a roll-in or a promotion to a higher score. We really didn't understand if we were winning or losing or not. As a result, this strategy turned out to be absolutely terrible, and we were losing a lot, even though we weren't playing particularly poorly. It's been 4 years since then, and I've gotten a lot better, but I still struggle to explain to new players the concept of strategy, the concept of situational awareness. Then I was listening to the Pink Shirt podcast one day with Andrew Hutchinson. He was talking to Jeremy Tracy, and Jeremy said this.
There's times that I play against a less experienced player, and I'm like, the round ends, and I go, they don't know why they lost.
Upon hearing this, I started laughing immediately because I knew he was talking about me, or at least it felt that way. Because yeah, when I was playing him and Andrew, I had no idea what was going on. I just know we were getting our butt kicked, and I had no idea how it was happening. So in this first video, that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on situational awareness, how to approach the board, what to look at so you can realize what the situation is. Are you at an advantage? Are you at a disadvantage? Do you need a 20 to win? Do you not need a 20 to win? Does your opponent need a 20 to win? Those are the questions we're going to try to answer today. So when I sit down at the board, what am I even looking at? I want to be cognizant of 2 things at all times. I want to be aware of the score in the cup and who has hammer. So as we analyze this situation, I see the pink player has plus 120s in the cup. It's not important that I know it's 4-3. I just need to be aware that the pink player has a plus 1 advantage. Practically speaking, this tells me that in order for the green player to win, the green player has to win by more than 20 points on the board. And that the pink player can now afford to lose by up to 20 points on the board and still win the game. Now, who's actually winning in this situation? It actually depends completely on who has the hammer right now. As the board lies now, pink is plus 20 in the cup and green is plus 10 on the board. So at the moment, pink is winning, but none of that's relevant if green has the hammer. Green can simply replace pink's disc or even just touch it and stay in the 15 and still win the match. If the pink player has the hammer, the green player is going to have his work cut out for him. It's very unlikely that green will be able to win by more than 20 points as long as pink has the hammer. The green player, in order to win, is going to most likely to need another 20. So the green player should be playing aggressively in the house. On the other hand, the pink player with the advantage, the only way the pink player is going to lose in all likeliness is if the green player scores the 20. So pink should be focused on not letting the green player score a 20. That means staying away from the 20 hole and not being unnecessarily aggressive. It's important to contemplate not only what the score is now, but particularly what the score will be after the hammer shoots, whether you're playing singles or doubles. In this way, you'll be able to determine whether it's appropriate to utilize an offensive or defensive strategy. Let's look at our next scenario. Team Roush Malloy with the blue discs have a 120 advantage. Brian in the Philadelphia Flyers hat has the hammer. How quickly can you sort through this mess and determine who has the advantage right now? I'll give you a tip. If you're counting up points on the board, you're doing it wrong. Just like with the 20 cup, the actual score on the board isn't relevant, only the net score. So I see that each team has 2 discs in the 15 ring. That's effectively 0. I don't count any of those. Same thing with the 10 ring. Each team has 1, effectively 0 again. That leaves 1 white disc remaining in the 5 ring. White is lying +5 on the board. However, white needs +25 on the board if they're going to overcome their opponent's advantage in the 20 cup. Now you see Robert with his blue disc in the upper left-hand corner is about to shoot, assuming he makes a valid shot that's going to put white even farther behind in points. Now as a general rule, you need at least a 2-disc advantage on the board to overcome a 20-point deficit. The exception being if your opponent's disc is merely in the 5 ring and you have 2 discs in the 15. If you're down 2 20s in the cup, then at minimum you're going to need at least a 3-disc advantage. 2 in the 15 and 1 in the 10, and that's just a tie. So Brian is going to need a 20 at some point. Now I want to point out that blue disc sitting very close to the hole. That is not an advantage to the blue team. That is an advantage to the white team. Remember, you have to hit your opponent's discs. Likewise, they have to hit yours. The easiest way for you to give up a 20 is to leave your disc close to the hole. So Robert right now should be focused on moving that blue disc away from the hole. If he can drop a 20 in the process, that's great. But, as we pointed out, blue has the advantage right now. It's to their benefit to stay away from the hole. In this next scenario, we see Matt making the mistake of giving into the temptation of automatically shooting at the opponent's disc closest to the hole. Matt's team, Extra Cheese, in the natural colored discs has a 120 advantage in the cup, and Matt's partner Tyler has the hammer. This is also the last round as Eddie's already shot his disc, and it's down to Matt, Joe, and then finally Tyler. That's a 2-to-1 shot advantage remaining for the team with the natural discs. Remember, as we talked about before, the team with the red discs is going to need to finish the game with a minimum of a 2-disc advantage to win, and they don't have the hammer. It's probably not going to happen. Matt definitely does not need a 20 to win here, but his opponents definitely do. The biggest gift they could receive right now is for Matt to fail to clear that red disc and leave his own disc close to the hole and setting up Joe for a 20 of his own. This would force his partner Tyler to make a difficult clear through the pegs just to save the game. Matt could easily win the game simply by clearing the disc closest to him in the 10 ring. That would leave Joe with no options of getting into the house, and he'd leave his partner with an easy shot on the disc in the 15 ring. Remember, you get no extra points for winning harder, and it can easily backfire. This isn't the movie Caddyshack. Your opponent's buttons hanging precariously close to the hole will not fall in on their own, so be very wary of taking unnecessary risks around the 20 hole. In this next example of what not to do, I find myself in a similar situation to what Matt was just in. With the exception there's only 1 disc for me to shoot at, so I have to come into the house. We're down to our last shots and my partner has the hammer. The disc I'm shooting at is sitting in a very difficult position for me to clear it cleanly as the hole's in the way. I need to at minimum demote the other disc and by all means stay on the board to avoid giving Jay a clean shot at the 20 hole and allow my partner to take the lead with the last shot. Again, I was concerned about the gray disc contacting a peg on the way out and coming back into the 15 ring. So I considered a riskier follow-through 20 shot. I figured the worst thing that was going to happen would be I'd clear the gray disc over the hole, and if my disc didn't go in, I'd leave Jay with a heavy hanger. After considering all the options, I chose violence, and naturally, this happened. I'm going to clear that one. He goes for the follow-through and loses his shooter. What a jerk. Oh, and he loses the game. Loses the game on a silly, silly shot. Not necessary to take that. Smacking myself in the head watching these replays here. Irish Steel goes up 4-0. I commit the cardinal sin of Crokinole. I unintentionally lose my shooter when I don't have another disc on the board. I give my opponent an open shot at the 20 hole. He of course drains it. Of course, the disc I thought would definitely clear, didn't clear, and gave my partner no shot at a 20, and we lost the round and ended up losing the match. So the moral of this story is be aware if you have another disc on the board or not. If you do not have another disc on the board, be very careful with your application of force, because if you lose that shooter, if it goes off, you're going to give your opponent a free shot at the 20. So we saved the best for last here. Here we have the 5th place match at the US Open between Andrew Hutchinson, Nathan Walsh, and 99 Problems But a Ditch Ain't One. This is Brian Monaco on the left and Seth from Bowling on the right. They have the orange discs. Now Seth has hammer. He is the last shot of the match. Unfortunately for him, he fails to count the white disc. Let's see. Let's go through our little exercise here. 99 Problems, guys of the orange, are up by 2 20s. That's 40 points. in order to win, they have to not lose by more than 35 points on the board. Now, if you count, you'll see that Nathan and Andrew in the white discs are sitting on the board with 45 points. Now, Seth's been playing one of the best matches of his life up to this point, making all sorts of crazy ricochet 20 shots, shots off pegs. He's been an absolute monster here. He's shown non-stop aggression even when it wasn't necessary. He's been a 20 machine. Doesn't take the time to actually realize what the score is, and he looks at those white discs like a giant porterhouse steak. He salivates a little, sees red, and charges like a bull at the 15 ring, going for a double clear when all he needs to do is clear one disc in the 5 ring. He just needs to clear one of these discs, and he went for it. Oh no! Oh no! Big sexy. He punks it. He hits the peg. All he had to do was clear one disc. Yeah, that would have been nice too. But critical error there by Seth from bowling. His fifth estate to 2 points. So that actually ended up costing him that whole match, because they actually won the following round, which would have won the match for him if they got those points in this one. And he lost the booby prize, which was a autographed picture of himself in a state of undress, and I'm told the Crokinole board was photoshopped. So that's it for this video. I hope this was helpful. I hope you know or understand now some of the tricks to approaching the board, analyzing the board, and understanding whether you need to be aggressive or whether you need to play defense and stay away from that 20 hole. The next video we're going to do is going to be on strategies to do those things, strategies to manufacture a 20 or manufacture a defense. Alright, until then, happy flicking, and y'all stay safe. We'll see you next time.